You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Podcast Network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. You're listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Learn more at wearelibertarians.com.
Welcome to the Hog of Liberty podcast. This is episode number 126 of the Central Indiana's favorite podcast. I'm Jeremiah Morrell. Today I'm joined by co-host Dakota Davis, outgoing intern Mason Rottinghaus, producer Chris Guffey, and Councilman Clay Morgan is our guest.
Today's episode features, of course, the legendary, the once missing, but now returned, the prodigal son of the boss hog of liberty, Mr. Clay Morgan. You know him as the county councilman at large, the
barber to the stars.
Proverbial.
That's true.
Yeah, he's the proverbial stick in the mud on the county council when it comes to the budget, as so we've been told here.
6-1, everybody.
Not anymore. Not the only stick in the mud now. So
but we are going to talk to Clay about the county budget. What's been going on there?
Third most tenured member of the Henry County Council,
and we are also going to be talking to him about some time in our media partners newspaper, the Courier Times. They said you were running for Henry County Commissioner in the Middle District or something like that. So we're gonna talk a little bit more about that as well. So make sure you stick around to the end. There might be some breaking news. Who knows?
So this show is about our lives in rural Indiana. We're here to push your boundaries and make you think as individuals. Sometimes we'll provoke you. Other times we'll make you laugh. But hopefully you'll always learn something new. You learn something new, like 2 blocks down the road from us now, there's a fountain and you can go throw your coins in it. And those coins go to pay for 1400 Plaza. So throw them in, everybody. It's
There's no water yet. Does your wish come true? Maybe if your wish is to have a well-funded parking lot.
Just take your Aldi quarters and chunk them in there and see how it all works out.
I gave all my quarters to Chris whenever he bought me grill.
It's true.
That's the end of your quarters.
Yeah, that was the last of them. I haven't had a chance to restock. Who carries cash anymore? This is 2019.
I told somebody that the other day. I don't know where this story's going nowhere. Somebody asked me if I had cash for something. I said, no, I'm a millennial. I haven't had cash in 10 years. I haven't had over $20 in 10 years. But I have literally no idea. Zach Burcham's watching a live feed. He wants to know if we're going to get any Dale Jr. updates. In the last 3 hours, our Dale Earnhardt Jr. his plane crashed in Bristol, Tennessee. He and his wife and his kid and the 2 pilots are all okay, but in the hospital. So if you want an update, go watch the Dale Jr. download on NBC Sports.
A plane crash, though.
The plane, it's like a train derailment. It came off the runway and ran into the road, and the wing broke off, and the thing was burning.
Oh, wow.
It was ugly.
Yeah.
Wow. NBC Sports, Dale Earnhardt Jr. So that's scary.
That's terrifying.
The
that's
IndyCar
like
nerd,
everyone who ever flies, that's their worst fear.
The IndyCar nerd in me says, oh, my God, it's Bristol again, and that's where Alan Kulwicki died in 1993, so the NASCAR champion.
No one else gets that reference.
Well, no, Zach, the guy that asked the question, I guarantee he's listened to every bit of Dinner with Racers with the Alan Kulwicki, the 4-parter for that. So you're a proven liar, Dakota.
We don't know. He hasn't said anything.
All right. Patreon. We got some Patreon folks to thank.
Of course, we always have the people over at the Patreon side to thank. Everybody who contributes at any level deserves some sort of a special thank you. We announced we had a new member a couple weeks ago, so those folks are always joining, always discovering what is behind the paywall, what we put out every week for those folks. And, of course, there's also special events that we put on, and if you want to get in on that at any level, we encourage you to start at $5 a month, but you can make custom donations as well.
Name your price. It's like Priceline.com.
That's right. It's
if you want to give $1.50 a month, if that's all you think we're worth, then we'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take anything.
Zach Burcham's in the chat. Alan Kulwicki is an American hero, Dakota Davis.
God dang it, Zach. Why'd you have to betray me like
the number
that?
7 Hooters Ford, man. The Underbird. Come on.
I thought we had some kind of special bond because we were neighbors for 2 years.
Oh, man, our racing ties are much deeper than y'all sharing a street.
Whatever. If you want to get in on the Patreon, then it's patreon.com/bosshog of liberty. And if you contribute at $50 or more a month, then we promise to tell the entire world about how great you are. And those folks, starting with Mr. Christopher Bilbrey, of course, from all the way from Hawaii, Craig DaCosta, our good friend Jonathan Phillips, and the always lovely Christy Avery. Thank you to all those folks.
Special recognition for Chris Bilbrey. He was on the Tony Katz show this week on 93.1. Huge controversies going on up in Muncie. Check out Bilbrey's show, Perception is Reality. They actually had a city councilman resign today. Or city council person resign today in Muncie.
Yeah.
Crazy,
really today?
Crazy stuff going on up there.
Yep.
Zach
Somebody else
says
has
you stepped out when you moved south of Q. So all the allegiances are over when you move south of Q.
Somebody else has already put in for that open seat now.
Darren Lee's in the chat saying Alan Kowicki started the backward victory lap. That's right, the Polish victory lap after his first win at Phoenix. There's so many Alan Kowicki fans in the
How is
in the
this
chat.
turning into? We do one annual Indy 500 show.
This is we're talking.
This
NASCAR
is not
now.
it.
That was the Xerox Ford. Anyway, and if you join the Patreon, it's not a promise, but it's almost a Mason Rottinghaus guarantee. If you're a Patreon member and you move from outside the county into the county, Mason will show up and personally help you move. Is that right?
I did help.
You did help Libby,
current Patreon member, move on Sunday out of the kindness of my heart.
How did that go?
There's kindness in your heart? It's news to me.
Barely. And it only shows for certain individuals, so know where you stand, Libby.
Libby is joining us. She, as a Patreon member, her first week in Henry County. She can't get Comcast yet to be able to stream from home. So we said, Libby, come on down to the studio, come on in, and you can watch from here. Once the Comcast is working and they get the Xfinity thing all worked out, she can start watching from her living room. But until then, she's watching live in the studio. But so we moved them into. They're in Westwood. They're very premium.
They're
over
right
there.
by the golf course. We can go golf all we want.
They could. You really screw up a tee shot, you probably could end up in their yard.
I'm really bad. So.
Oh man, so
that could be a nice side business for you guys, just picking up lost golf balls and then take them to the clubhouse and try to resell
Half of them are probably mine, so you could probably just give them back.
after we got all their boxes moved, what happened? We were moving some things back into their mini barn.
We were moving some things down the mini barn, which is already horrific to get to. So I will come and help you fix that. And Jeremiah,
he's got so many. He's volunteering for so much.
I've got so many plans. We're out there, moving things.
You're expecting dinner once a week over there, right?
Once a week at the Potters, yes.
If dinner's once a week for free, Libby, I'll help.
So Guffey knows Thursdays he's at the studio, and then maybe Tuesday nights at Potters, and you've got your 2/7 of the way to a full week.
Clay, when can I come over for dinner on a weekly basis?
I'll give that some thought.
Sunday supper. Sunday supper.
In other words, stay away.
We were unloading some boxes and trying to get stuff out from I guess the cutoff from inside the garage and out. We wanted to get stuff out just in case it rained, so we started moving things in the mini barn and everything. And
we found an electric chainsaw,
and we find this electric.
I thought it was
chainsaw.
battery operated, and I'm like, it says it's so many amps, and I couldn't find. I pulled the trigger and it didn't work.
It barely even worked.
And then somebody's like, "You have to plug it in, dumbass." I'm like, "Oh, all right, hang on."
Well, then it still didn't work, and we had to beat it around a little bit and unplug it and plug it back in, and we finally got it going. And somebody said, "Well, yeah, let's cut that limb off." And then somebody said, "Let's cut it at the base." And so we cut a tree.
So Mason cut about a 55-foot tall tree down
with a
dropped it across the driveway
blade.
with all of the help still stuck on the other side of the tree that he dropped.
So
everybody's like, "God dang it, Mason, we can't leave." And then all of a sudden it turned into a chainsaw party.
Yeah. And then Kevin couldn't get the chainsaw going. And then once we got it cut down, he decided he could get the freaking chainsaw going. So it made the job 10 times easier. But
we had a lot of fun.
It was a good time.
This is why I always like to help people move. People bitch about no. Well, yeah, well, that's too. But it's a fun thing. It's like a barn raising. Somebody's like, "Oh, if they want me to help them move," I'm like, "Yeah, let's go. It's fun. It's a good day."
I enjoy going out there. I'm happy I was able to get the time.
You're the one person that gets me, Mason, because Dakota's like, "Oh, I don't want to help him. It's just no fun."
Well,
it's social time.
Well, Danny,
did I say that? Did those words come out of my mouth?
When was the last time you volunteered to help for something hard?
I don't know.
Well, Danny needed help getting
no
that
idea.
Snowmobile out of the back of his truck.
Because I do it all the time, Jeremiah.
and Chris and Danny already got out of the bed of the
Can't have
truck, and I
enough.
show up late. And so I'm just out there talking to Danny and Chris.
So you would do it again. 10-10 would do it
Oh,
again.
absolutely. We have fun out there.
All right. So Saturday?
I'll be at home. I'll be at Purdue.
It'll be boiler upping. This is we're sending you off today, Mason. This is the 1 year anniversary of what got you on the show.
This is actually, is it
The
today?
Gold Rush week.
Is today it?
Ventriloquist, was
Andy
it
Gross
Ventriloquist Thursday?
/ comedian, whatever he was. Yeah. Yeah. This is about a year since the first time I phoned in.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't this studio either. It was
the old studio. We
old
had a
studio.
few more weeks left in the old studio.
Yep.
Right around Labor Day, I think is when we moved last year.
Yep. Oh, Andy Gross.
So there you go. So, all right.
And he hasn't gotten any better. All right, Clay. It's been a long time since you've been on the show.
It has been a while.
However,
It has been a while.
Whenever I Googled Clay Morgan, Henry County, Indiana, your profile on bosshogliberty.com still shows up.
Still shows.
As a co-host.
Well,
So
Thank you.
we never forgot about you.
Well, I appreciate it.
I have an announcement.
I appreciate it.
My wife just left. I don't know if this is a permanent thing or I don't know.
I hope
She's
not.
still
It'd be
entitled
nice-
to your money.
It'd be nice if she brought me a beer, but whatever.
That's what Guffey's for.
Or intern Mason.
I can't touch that.
Aw.
Oh, look at her.
Oh, she came back.
She's retrieving one.
She's so nice.
She's trying.
She smoked
She
the
tries.
chair.
Hey,
You
Clay, when you've been married for
Wow.
15, 20 years,
Don't-
does this still happen?
It can.
It can. Thank you. Is this like Kroger?
Yeah.
Do you have to have somebody else hold that for you? And
What do you mean? When I worked at Kroger, I checked people out with the alcohols.
did you make them scan it themselves?
No,
Were you allowed to do that?
You can't
No.
scan it.
I can now. You have to be 2 years younger than the purchasing age.
That's such a
They have to be
stupid rule.
19.
Yep.
That's weird.
You have to be 19 to scan alcohol.
Clay, since you're on the council, can you fix that for us?
No.
What kind of freedom can you create, Clay?
Not too much.
So but like I said, you were a co-host
Yeah.
at one point in time. You were one of the founding members.
Aw.
One of our, for a long time.
Still on the website as a host.
Yeah. We just covered that about 5 minutes ago.
He was worried about his
The-
wife leaving.
That's what it
That's
was.
what it was.
He thought it was permanent.
Yes.
We, one of our,
Hope my key works when I get home.
for the longest time, our highest ranking,
If not, I'm moving to Purdue.
our highest ranking
Got an air
downloaded
mattress.
episode. For the longest time, our highest ranking downloaded episode was Clay Morgan, Abe Lincoln, War Criminal.
I remember that one.
Yeah.
I had Clay very uncomfortable when I called Abe Lincoln a war criminal.
Yeah, I remember. I
Yeah.
remember that episode
Yeah.
faintly.
I just
Faintly.
wanted to let you relive that
Abe
uncomfortable
is still a
moment.
war criminal, by the way. He suspended habeas corpus. He's
He's down in history as
not a good dude.
yeah.
He did like one good thing, and then he got assassinated, and we remember him for that one good thing. Which
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, I mean, it was a pretty significant good
Dakota,
thing.
if you were to be
It was pretty
assassinated, what would you be known
Pretty
for?
significant.
What'd you say?
That if you were to be assassinated, what would you be known for?
This.
Doubt it. I would probably not, like most people, just not be remembered.
I'm gonna say his rants against Mayor Greg York.
You think that would be it?
Yeah.
I hope not. So you left us in 2017 because apparently having 5 kids and a wife and trying to run a business and also being on the county council makes you busy. Right?
I went through
Whatever that means.
I was in a busy time of my life. I was on different boards and volunteering here and there and
You really cared there for a minute.
and like all of a sudden it was like I need to slow down a little bit. So I started resigning and like there was a board or two. I finished one board I finished my term and I didn't, and I resigned from a couple others and so I really downsized my life during that time. Yeah.
Yeah. There's only so many hours in the day. But
It was beneficial. I enjoyed that time away from everything.
From getting away from these people.
From everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we were when Clay started with us, we were around the dining room table still at my house.
Yes.
I mean, this was early.
the very early.
There was no
days.
video, there was no camera. I think our first episode with camera was with Nate Lamar, and he about stroked out when he found out we were going to be on the camera. Clay's former cohort on the county council.
Okay.
But you also are the barber of the stars, as Jeremiah mentioned.
Barber to the stars.
Yeah,
True.
barber to the stars. You guys have the best fades around. You're the official barbershop of the Boss Hog of Liberty, which I haven't had my haircut in 2 weeks.
Do you sell him?
I was
don't
wondering
point at
if he
me.
was coming in today, actually, because he usually comes in right before the episodes.
I
Do you
would
sell
have,
him
but
the product? Do you have the FOP or whatever it is that he puts in, the Dapper Dan? What do you put
We
in?
have sold him some product.
What's he use?
It's the-
As the barber? What's he use?
Well,
how
you know,
do you get the Dakota Davis look?
Well,
What do you have
here's
when you
the
sit
thing.
down in the chair? What do you have to ask for?
He left me.
Oh no!
Yeah. So like,
Is there any chance he'll be coming back?
I think he will. He still comes to MVP. It's just I now have another barber, that has been servicing him.
Right.
You cut my hair like 3 weeks ago.
I did when she wasn't there. Yeah.
And Chris got mad at me for letting you cut my hair.
oh,
I did. I called him a traitor. He was
just
such
so
a-
then he
you know.
turned around and let me cut his hair just the other day.
Well,
Yeah.
there were circumstances that wouldn't allow me to get my hair cut by her.
Well, did you try really hard? Did you do everything in your power?
I did.
All right.
Whatever.
And then
Whatever
I
that
called.
means.
Then I called Clay and I said, "Hey, can you fit me in?" And like a good barber, he just said, "Come on down, buddy."
Dropped everything and
I'm
let
all
you come
done. I
crawling
did.
back.
I
Did
did.
he have the newspaper in there for you to read? I'm just asking.
Wow, that was a good inside joke.
Do you have-
that was a good clap?
Do you have like 4,000 people a day that come through the barbershop and read your newspaper?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess it is.
more than that on a good day?
I guess the editor has a point then. The hell with it. Just give away the product for free.
Since then, I found out just earlier I was kicked out of that group.
But really,
So-
You've
really,
been politely asked to leave.
speaking about the barbershop, I really do want to talk a little bit more about the shop itself.
Okay.
How long have you been cutting hair?
Have I been cutting hair or been at the shop?
Cutting hair.
Cutting hair. I started barbering when I was 19 years old, and I'm now 44.
Cosmetology school.
Yeah,
Wow.
Cosmetologist.
I've seen the license.
Licensed cosmetologist, yes. I always joke around about that and tell people I'm a fake barber. So, but anyhow, I've always worked in a barbershop since I was 19. So quite a few
So
years.
have you always just wanted to be a barber?
About my sophomore year in high school.
Cosmetologist.
Yeah.
Yeah. About my sophomore year in high school.
All right,
Yeah, that's
let's
cool.
get back to my question that you dodged.
Yeah. What's that?
When when he sits down, when Dakota sits down in the chair,
Okay.
what does he ask for? How do you get this look? What's the product in the hair, and what does he have to ask for? What is this called?
He really doesn't have to ask
do you
for
call
anything
it a
right
pompadour?
now.
What is it?
Listen, I go in once a week. They just know what I want.
We just do it.
Yeah.
So what's it called?
But it has been a progression.
What is your
Nice.
We actually
Is
sometimes we'll ask people, "Do you want the Dakota Davis?"
Oh, is there a book and he's in it?
Yeah, it's
Do
called
you flip through?
the Great Value or Great Deals magazine.
It's true. You are the model
I'm
in the
He
Great Deals.
is. That is true.
I'm in that one.
He is.
Do you get kickbacks for that, Dakota?
Royalties, yeah.
I haven't gotten this.
You have not been compensated for your likeness?
No, I haven't.
Hold on. I got this.
MVP could join the Patreon for God's sake for using your likeness.
jeez.
Stuff just fell and broke over here at the producer's desk. Guffey's dusty wallet has come
Guffey's
out,
pulling out money.
and here comes
what is it?
Here comes a free coupon,
Oh,
a
look at
free
that.
haircut.
a voucher.
Oh,
Man,
Why don't I have
Wow.
one of those?
We've already talked about that. I get a discount if you go once a week. You don't have to pay a tip.
Why do you have to go once a week? Your hair doesn't grow that fast, does it?
Yeah, it goes really. Dude, listen. This was all bald.
He's a
weeks ago,
model.
Okay, it was bald on the sides 2 weeks ago.
I can make that bald
You
for
shooting
free.
up testosterone?
Huh?
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, some TRT.
Testosterone.
That's how he grows that neck beard.
That's why he's been working out.
Uh-huh. Can't you tell how ripped I am?
He's very potent. Just ask Audrey.
So, Clay, now that I've given away my free haircut to Dakota as a kickback, when will you be supporting some foundation to where I can go buy a hamburger and get another haircut?
go buy a hamburger
Yeah, that's how I got that one.
and get another haircut.
I got that one when you sponsored the sheriff's thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That's 2 years, buddy.
That's the one you've been saving.
Listen,
He
if all
told
it
me he's been
takes,
saving one just in case he didn't have money.
if all
That
it
was like
takes
forever.
is your business card with the word free on the back, I'm never going to have to pay for a haircut again.
I don't want to say that those could be counterfeited, but
That's not a sign. That's not anything.
I've never used one.
That one's expired.
That has no expiration date. It just says free.
Yeah, back when I did that, I just handed out a limited amount.
Limited amount. Oh, you're about to have a lot more come in.
And then when they brought it in, I would just rip it up. I just trusted the people
Next
of
time
Newcastle,
I come
Indiana.
in and you're missing all your business cards, and I start coming in once a week like Dakota Davis, and I say, I want the Dakota Davis.
Like he just
I
told
don't
you
know.
he hasn't done this in 2 years.
I don't know if you could get the Dakota Davis, Mason.
Since that time, I
my
put
hair
labels on the back. I still carry some on me, but
Well,
they say free haircut by
proof.
Clay
We
Morgan.
need proof.
It has been a long process.
That's-
There are parts of my hair that had to be grown out and parts that needed to be cut shorter.
There.
And so it's
Free
been a
haircut.
It's a
process
label.
over there.
It's a label now. That's how
Is that one mine?
you know.
No,
Also
don't give it to me.
easily
No, you're going to
counterfeited.
Purdue.
I tried.
So,
Yeah.
so you were cutting hair at the age of 19.
Yeah.
And you started barbering you rented a booth. Is that the correct term?
Yeah, I was at the Village Edge Barber Shop, close to the Ball State campus. Yeah, I started over there.
Chirp, chirp.
With a guy named Randy and Roger, and Patty was the female barber in there. And was there with them.
Did
for
Patty ride a
while.
motorcycle?
I don't think she rode a motorcycle. But she was a good barber. She was a really good barber. But that's where I started at 19.
Why
so.
did you decide to open a shop?
Was B-Dubs right next to you guys?
No, we didn't have like really anything next to us.
There used to be B-Dubs in
a
the village at Ball State.
A block from us was the Village Pantry there on the corner.
Right.
And White Spot Laundry.
You're outside of the actual village.
Yeah.
But the B-Dubs used to be right there. Do you remember this back in that era? Buffalo Wild Wings?
Well, I remember Buffalo Wild Wings, but it wasn't there where we were at.
Okay.
I mean,
specific.
yeah.
Why did you decide to go into business for yourself?
So actually, it's a cool story how MVP came about. So it'll take me just a couple minutes here to explain it.
Buckle your seatbelts.
The floor is yours.
We can allow 10
Guffey,
minutes to the
the
gentleman
talking
from
stick.
north of
Guffey,
38.
please
Yes.
mute everyone else's mics to keep interruptions from happening.
So what actually happened? So I've always kind of done a little this, done a little that. I worked at church full time. I barbered full time, and then I went to church full time again, and just did some different things. Anyways, so what had happened back when I was making my county council run for the first time? I actually was pretty much a stay-at-home dad. So my wife went to work full time. She wanted to become a nurse, so she did that, and we kind of traded roles for a while. So, anyways,
How'd you do with nursing?
how'd she do, or how'd I do?
How'd you do?
How'd I do?
Yeah.
Actually,
As full-time dad, I assume you had
well,
they had to eat.
my nipples hurt.
Yeah.
Often,
Chafing?
for some reason, nothing was coming out.
Oh, damn.
So, anyways, then my wife, reminded me that I needed to use the bottle. So I was like, oh, okay. And then everything was fine after
Kids probably looked at you
after
better
I did
after
that.
that.
Yeah, it was a little weird. But so anyways, so I'm on advance, through a lot of life. But anyways, we just reached this point where I had my council income. My wife was making, some income.
Bang.
And I was just like, man, we just need a little bit more. We didn't need a lot more, just a little bit more, because we was kind of gradually falling behind each month. And so unlike what we did in county government, whenever we would fall behind a little bit, we just kind of, say, what the heck, and just borrow money and go on, right? Or raise a tax. But I couldn't do that in my personal endeavors. So what I did
The
is
middle district dad didn't just have money?
right. So
Weird.
I just said, I said, something's got to give here, because we kept trying. And so me and my wife had a discussion one morning about finances, because I get a little stressed every once in a while. And man, to be honest with you, this is what happened. I go out into the yard, because I'd talked to Scott Lightfoot about working with him part-time before, just to make that little extra.
Until you get your real estate career started.
Well, exactly. But that wasn't going to work out. So I was just like, okay. So anyways, that morning I went out into my backyard, and I'm just, and I'm walking around in my backyard, and all I did, I said a little prayer, and I said, God, something has to give. Something's got to got to break here. And that's really about it. And then I just kind of went back in, started my day, and within a couple of hours, I'd got a call from the Lightfoots. And I was like, they said they wanted to talk. I was like, okay, I'll be down there. So I go in there, and Brady Lightfoot, pulls me to the back room, and he says, hey, man, just want to let you know, we hadn't been trying to ignore you or anything. He said, but we're closing the shop down. I was like, oh, okay, well, that explains it, you know? So we chit-chatted for about 20 minutes, and right before I walked out the door, it hit me. All I have to do is start cutting hair, and it's mine. So anyways, to the point, about an hour later, we had a deal worked out, and I had a barbershop.
And you were in business.
So that was 3 years ago, about July 1st.
And now you've transformed into the extremely successful man that sits before us.
Yes, exactly. Something like that.
Really?
James Neese is watching the chat, and he wants to know Clay's opinion for bar patrons asking for cocaine. This is in reference to the State Representative Forrestal, who beat James Neese in 2012 for that seat in the State House.
I see.
He's just wanting to know what you think about the Forrestal situation. Have you been following?
Barely. I saw that there were some issues there. I saw he was having some difficulty. And
this is Indianapolis District 100, the state rep. He was in an East Side bar, pretending to be a cop. Allegedly, he's a fireman and he's a state rep, but that wasn't enough. He pretended to be a cop, got himself followed and arrested, thrown on the ground, messed up, refused a blood draw, and
apparently
now he's retained Jim Voiles.
Apparently, he was asking folks at the bar
for some coke,
for cocaine.
He was doing an undercover drug bust.
Uh-huh.
Potentially, he'll be
he was just trying to be a hero.
There's only like 7 Democrats that are in the state house right now as elected. So he'd probably be sitting right next to our boy Aaron Dickin if Aaron wins next year in the race he's in.
Could have been.
They could be best friends.
Could have been.
He'll have a hookup if he wants to bring some coke back to the county. We don't know.
Sometimes I just scratch my head and go, why?
Yeah. Aaron might be Newcastle's very own Walter White.
James, we're gonna write that down and note that Clay dodged your question, and I tried. I don't know. James. If you join Patreon at $50 a month, I'll come at him again with it. I just need my phone to chirp and let me know that you really jumped in there.
So before I asked you if you could take care of some legal issues for us, we're not going to ask you to take care of legal issues like what James Neese has, but the county council.
Okay.
He brought the budget, everybody. If you'll hold that up for the camera, he has literally brought in the county budget. That you're responsible for this now, being one of the most senior members of the council. This is you, buddy.
One thing that I think that
you're on the podium of tenure on the council,
right?
You're there
that fast. One election, and I'm a senior member.
One thing I think that people always need to be reminded of is that the county council is the fiscal body of the county government. You don't make the ordinances,
right?
So, I just want to get that cleared out. First things first, as we start talking about the county budget, so that no one comes at you and asks why Riley Road has a speed limit of 30 miles an hour when children are present.
Right. Just can't do anything.
You can't deal with those people.
Right.
They just.
That's my final thoughts. Thanks for ruining that.
That's city council.
And that would be the city. That is true. Yeah. So, but
All right. So
Guffey's up on that.
Exactly.
For some reason.
He knows.
For some mysterious reason.
So you guys just got out of the budget session, which I say just got out of, but it was a few months ago, right?
Week and a half to 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we met on
longer than I thought.
July 30th, July 31st, August 6th, I think it was, and then August 8th.
Huh. So whenever I started pitching this episode to you, you guys were still in the midst of it. See, when I started pitching this episode to you, I thought that you guys had already finished.
Yeah, not complete. Not
shows
complete.
What I know. Don't
you
listen
guys,
to me.
Have you adopted the budget now?
No.
You're still. No. It's a process. You guys have workshops.
Yeah.
And then you come up with a plan, and then you ask for the state government to kiss the ring.
Well, there's a public hearing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so the auditor sends our budget off, and we can't. Once we send it off, we can cut it, but we can't up it. right? I think is how it goes. But then there's a public hearing. That's actually August 22nd at 5:30 at the courthouse there. And then
it's as a portion of the regular council meeting.
Yeah, it's right before. It's right before. It's actually 30 minutes of its own allotted time. And then September council meeting will be budget adoption.
Well, the bottom line on that budget, is it about 13, 14 million bucks again this year? What are we spending?
It's right around, I don't have the exact final number.
Dodger, come
I have
on.
the department numbers. But yeah, it is like 13 million.
I mean, we can have intern Mason add it up for you if you want him to.
Right?
I'm really
Just
bad at math.
Push it over.
He's got an iPhone.
Just going through all these.
You count pills every day.
By fives.
Well, I don't care if you count by fives.
Heck, most of the time I just throw them in the machine and let it count itself.
Dang, automation taking our good jobs. This is why we need Andrew Yang and universal basic income.
Yang gang.
But the county, we haven't been in the best fiscal health
Right.
for a while.
Right.
And I'd just take a walk into MVP Barbershop and ask Clay about the Henry County budget, and he'll let you know about it.
Right.
Yeah, you've been very outspoken about your displeasure with all of it. So let's talk about the things that you guys have had to do in the past as far as trying to make cuts, because those tough decisions of cutting departments' budget, that comes to you guys, right?
It's supposed to.
Right. Yeah.
What do you mean it's supposed to?
You're figuring it out.
Right.
So
You mean the auditor just doesn't let you know what happened later? Is that what this means?
Well, what I'm saying
or is that what used to happen?
What I'm saying is I really enjoy working with our new auditor.
Oh, okay.
yeah, there we go.
She's doing a great job.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
Mason, are you picking up what he's laying down?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm just waiting for the open gate because I love to talk about it. So, but yeah, there has been times in the past.
Looks like there's a crack. Go on through.
There has been times in the past where stuff gets cut, and I'm like, how did that get cut from there? Right. Yeah. And so my first few years.
And the fact that you, a member, right now, the senior member of the fiscal body,
top
didn't
three.
know about it.
Third.
Yeah.
By January of next year, you'll be in the top two?
Two.
Yeah.
So you're so close.
I'm almost there. I'm almost there.
If Harold becomes sheriff magically again, you're number one.
That's scary. But yeah, stuff would kind of happen there, and but after there's a couple little short stories that I could tell after I figured out some things on how some of this works. I raised some more specific questions on, hey, where'd that money go? And it never really clearly got answered, but it got taken care of.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
It's like last year, I'm trying to think exactly what it was, but there was like 47,000 that needed cut or something, or they were going to cut, like I think from the sheriff's department budget. I forget even what it was. But everything had already been passed. And all of a sudden I'm hearing $47,000 got cut. And I was like, that can't happen. So, so we start digging.
What changed?
Yeah.
What changed?
So we start digging in, the sheriff, current council member, Chad Malacote at that time, because he had already been elected. We were looking into this, and all of a sudden, we get an email sent to us and said, "Oh, great news! We don't have to cut anything. We found the money," or something like that.
See, this is when I remember.
And I'm like, yeah, I wonder how.
I remember when this happened because I had the day off. Whenever all this exploded.
We talked about that stuff, right?
Yeah. I put on.
And then I think it became
Clay
Clay was wrong. We were told Clay was wrong.
Yeah, what I was told. I contacted a member of the executive body for the county.
Yeah,
and was told, well, see, this stuff is so complicated that even the county council members like Mr. Morgan, they just don't know about it.
Yeah.
So I thought, Huh, that's an interesting answer.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. But guess what? Once we raised the question,
Once we have it done, we'll let you vote yes. Okay,
it was figured out. Right. Exactly. It was figured out. It's like the one time they took, the council decided to put extra money in for the deputies' clothing allotment because it had been like 30 years since it had been upped. And so we went ahead and did that.
Bring your own shirts from home.
Agreed to do that. And
Pick something brown, everybody.
all of a sudden, right? All of a sudden, I'm hearing from the deputies, "Hey, where's that money?" The sheriff's saying it's not there, and I'm looking, I'm like, "It's there. We passed it." And they're like, "No, it's not. It's not there." So I start asking some questions about it. So we're in a council meeting, and there's actually some deputies in the audience and everything. And I raised the question, where'd this money go? Because and I asked all the council, didn't we do this? I said, maybe I'm mistaken. Didn't we do? Every council member that spoke agreed they remember doing something, which was only a couple of them. Most of them just stayed quiet. The auditor sat there the whole time, didn't say a word. Who's the one that does all this, right?
The former auditor, not the current auditor.
Not the current auditor, exactly. The former auditor. And
for real quickly, for those that I just got wet. What happened, Dakota?
Sorry, I was.
He's swirling his drink.
It's his tricep.
For those that are listening from outside of Henry County.
Okay.
What's
I
an
forgot
auditor
your
do?
your
we're
audience
all over the world.
is so broad.
What the hell does an auditor do?
So,
They pay the bills, right? They're responsible
in a
for
nutshell, they
administering
pay
your
the
budget.
bills. They're the bookkeeper.
Yeah.
They make sure that everything balances and the bills are paid correctly from the correct funds and things of that nature.
And they take notes during your meetings.
And they take notes, yes.
All right.
They serve as the county council secretary.
That's the end of my 20-second timeout. Back
You're
to
exactly
you, Clay.
right. You're exactly right. So I raised all this question, and then one of the commissioners is talking about how, well, the money's there. The sheriff just has to come and ask for an additional appropriation. And
see the plane on the TV here in the studio? Dale Jr.'s plane.
It's all burned up.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It's ugly. Anyway.
Sorry, Clay.
that is
Sorry
that
to
is
interrupt.
bad.
It's a big deal.
That is bad.
This is why the top of the show opened with this thing. 2-time Daytona 500 winner, Dale Earnhardt Jr. plane crash.
Yeah.
So you found $47,000
well,
in
anyways,
the shirts.
So what did he just said it's there and you just have to do an addition. Now this is the same one that told you, well, Mr. Morgan might not understand exactly blah, 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 right? Well, this commissioner says, well, the money's there. The sheriff just has to ask for additional appropriation. And so he's sitting in front of me and I'm like, I said, okay. I said, that the very fact that he has to ask for an additional
means that it wasn't
is
there.
proof that it wasn't allocated in the budget. After the council specifically said, this is what we want.
Commissioner Kronk, who you're speaking of, he was on the county council as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's had the sheriff's job, he's had the commissioner's job, and he's had the council job.
He knew it was supposed to be that way, but he's the only one that's tried to, because most people in the audience, most of the public, right? And I didn't have a clue before I was on the council. Wouldn't understand that. So if you have an experienced government leader saying, oh, it's there, the sheriff just has to do this. Well, to everybody else, it makes it look like, oh, it's okay. But no, that wasn't the point. The money was there in another fund, but it was taken.
It was transferred out
of the budget without the council's approval of taking it out. Because here's what
budget was it in the commissioner's budget at that point?
I don't know what happened. It was they said you just have to go to Lowit. They said just use public safety Lowit.
Local option income tax.
Exactly.
That extra 1% you voted for. I told you not to, Clay. You didn't listen to me.
The only thing that I know that might have happened.
He redeemed himself on a previous episode, and he said, for the record, for all the new listeners, he said, if I had to do it over again, knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have voted yes. You said that. Well, that's a direct quote.
Well,
I listened to it.
I would have to go back and hear that, but we screwed it. I mean,
I think that your exact wording was something like if you knew how it was going to be abused or something.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, it was used to cushion. I was just talking to someone about that today. It's still very frustrating because there's certain, when you make $1 million decisions like that, you kind of is the correct pigeonhole everything? Like,
Yeah.
it's not
think
easily
that's right.
removed.
It's not a 1-year deal.
No,
You're
it's-
baking it yourself in going forward.
exactly.
You're making commitments for future
Exactly.
councils, future whatever. Which is the same thing. The conversation, the big looming 20,000-pound elephant ahead of you is going to be financing some sort of criminal justice facility. What you guys decide is going to set the tone for the next 20 to 30 years
Absolutely.
of county councils.
Absolutely. So, and it's kind of. I want to, off the top of my head, I just want to say kind of scared me, but I don't know if that's the correct word. But the sobriety of that, the seriousness of that, it's kind of a big deal because I know we're probably going to make some mistakes, and I'm just like, I hope they're not so big that they can't be corrected
Hope
quickly.
they're
You
not
know what I mean?
detrimental.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to talk to you about cutting the budget.
Okay.
And I want to give Clay Morgan a magic wand. And I want Clay Morgan to go, this is everything, this is what I want to cut. And there's no one else. You are the dictator-in-chief of Henry County, and you get to make all those decisions. What are you doing?
Yeah. Real easy answer. Because the honest truth, with this, because as you guys know, we have 4 brand new members this year. 3 of them really new to county government. One of them, Chad Malico, has kept up with county government since I ran in 2012. He's kind of been in
He's been in the conversation.
He's been in the conversation.
He's been around.
Exactly. And I would almost guarantee that just about every one of them would give you the exact same answer I'm getting ready to. And that is for Henry County government to just even maintain where we're at now, at this level, there's nothing to cut. There really is not.
Your costs are on the headcount side, right? People are what is
Yeah.
expensive in
Yeah.
county government.
Yes.
So
very,
it
very much
is
so.
it is your pensions,
Yeah.
it is your legacy costs, it's insurance, it's salaries. Those
Absolutely.
are the biggest expensive costs.
Absolutely.
It's not paper clips and heating and air and utilities. It's headcount and people cost. That's
Absolutely.
and your obligations with that jail over there. Those are
Absolutely.
those are where the costs are.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you're forced to spend certain money by state statute and code and expectations in the sheriff's budget, which includes the facilities for the jail. And you can probably look in there and tell us what the county spends now on pensions, but the costs for previous 20, 30, 40 year ago employees are very expensive.
Absolutely.
The first line item I see is sheriff retirement, and it's $433,000.
Which is servicing that. And
that's just one thing there.
And that's something that Chris Guffey and myself and Nick Sarwark talked about last week when we met him in Hagerstown, was talking about public pensions and obligations, and we don't have the way county governments are forced to operate and state governments are forced to operate is we don't have current year expenses. But businesses have made this adjustment where we shifted away from legacy pension plans to 401ks and defined contributions. That's still a defined benefit program that exists. And instead of saying, okay, yeah, we'll match you 6% if you put in 6%, and we still have these old legacy costs that are going to carry around forever. And that's, in my understanding, in my view, and the knowledge I have of the county budget, that's what weighs you down. That's why you say you have nothing you can cut, because that systematically is in there.
Absolutely. Because that is the thing. So you have those employee costs, the retirements, the insurance costs, things like that every year continue to increase slightly. It's like our insurance. So that was a big thing last year, as you guys know. For whatever reason, the county council, quite honestly, we looked completely incompetent with a month to go last year.
What happens, the way the county insurance program is set up, is that you have to pay. There's not a cap the county isn't capped. It's basically a self-insured program.
It's a self-insured program.
So if
right.
the people that the county are insuring get super sick or things happen or they're high expenses, you don't have a guaranteed, hey, yeah, we're only going to have to pay up to $1 million. You're going to pay whatever the hell the cost
absolutely.
is. And if people get sick that are on the county insurance, or there's a number of catastrophic events, the county's stuck, and you can't have a defined, okay, $100,000 a month covers our insurance cost, because it may be all of a sudden you have a month where it's $700,000.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And what happened is you got 11 months into the year, and all of a sudden you had a big hole to fill, and you had to borrow money. I think from the drainage board or
from drainage, from the surveyor's office, and from highway. 300,000 from each, 600,000, and then we took. Had different departments, collected money from different departments, just kind of hoarding it in that hadn't been spent. Commissioners had some money to come up with like $750,000 in like a month's time.
And then that had to be repaid out of the next year's budget because you borrowed it, and then it has to balance back out.
Which we paid
those
the
funds
surveyor
had to get their money
back.
back.
Yeah, we paid the surveyor back the $300,000. I think we're still working on the highway department part of it, but. And there were some adjustments made to insurance to help alleviate that. What was frustrating about that is that the county council in the past had kind of been left out of the loop on insurance. So
you're just assigned a cost.
With a month to go, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're almost $1 million short. We have to come.
We're going to need some help with that.
We have to come up with this, and you're the fiscal body. So what are you going to do about it?" And so that was eye opening.
And you're saying the
auditor's office.
Well, the auditor's office and the commissioners, because typically,
just clarifying.
Typically Commissioner Kronk handled the insurance issues. And
why? Why is there one commissioner that would be in charge of the insurance?
When I started on the county council, it's just the way it was. So we'd ask questions at different times. People would talk about it. You'd ask questions, but it was always kind of explained away. And it's kind of one of those things, unfortunately, it was being taken care of. So we were working on the other issues, assuming that it was self-sustaining and it was okay. And we would budget for it. And,
Well, that was another part of the issue that came up with in the discussion surrounding the $40,000 for sheriff's uniforms those
were two different issues too.
Right, they were two separate issues, but they were happening at the same time, and it was like it seemed like an awful coincidence that the insurance would be short money, and then all of a sudden, money that was budgeted came up missing. Right, that was the big question on my side of things.
Gotcha.
I started
okay, I see
looking
what
at
you're saying. Yeah,
I'm like,
well, see, by the time they said, "Oh yeah, we found the money," the insurance issue had been taken care of. Like we had already decided to borrow and fill those holes.
But there were holes to be filled nonetheless.
Right. So let me. So on the insurance issue, let me seal that before we move on. The good thing that happened though is since I knew I was going to be coming back and some of the others weren't, I made a specific point during that meeting that the council be involved in the insurance issues. So with the new council, we immediately established a committee, subcommittee.
Probably a very good thing.
Yeah, so Chad Malico and Kenan Gray really spearheaded that and dug in, and we made a lot of changes, and everything's been out in the open. And
so what kind of changes have happened? Do you guys have an out-of-pocket cap now, or is it? Are you still self-insured? What kinds of things have changed?
Still self-insured. One thing that happened is employees pay quite a bit more for it now. They up the premiums.
That's got to be popular.
Yeah. I don't know the specific numbers on it, but I do know it increased, and it did help the amount that's now coming in. So that is one major change. We're still looking at it. We had to budget somewhere around $200,000 to $300,000 more this year because when we approached the budget this year, we approached it more realistically. We looked at areas where different line items that were transferred out of to kind of cover gaps at the end of the year.
You just simply set the budget that way ahead of time instead of assuming you're going to make the transfers.
Right, exactly. So we tried to fund the insurance.
Yeah.
Right. And so we added like $200,000 to $300,000 to that one line item, and we still are estimating the possibility of coming up short at the end of the year. So, but like you said, being self-insured, it all depends on how many claims come in. So,
is it just significantly more expensive to not be self-insured, to put that firewall up?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to ask too.
yeah, and that I really don't know. I really don't. So,
In your opinion,
Chad and Kennan they've been working on it, so they would probably know better than I would.
Those are the two glaring things to me. Is one, if you can, it's kind of like an unlimited data cell phone plan, right? Okay, whatever it is, I'm covered. I'm paying this number. Versus, well, I could be down here, but I might have an overage, and I'm way the hell up here. Yeah. And then the other side is the employee costs. And this is something I talked about in my campaign, and I've had this conversation a number of times, that you do a one-time buyout of everybody that's in the pension plans, and even if you have to borrow the money and say, hey, clear all the legacy costs, and then your cost this year or this year's costs, and you're only paying that, you'd be so far ahead. And that's happened in the private sector countless times, where they say, hey, you'd have this defined benefit, but we'll give you $300,000 now, and you're out of the program, but you've got that money, you can invest it, it's yours, you grow it, do whatever you want, and you're good to go.
There was it wasn't a discussion, but someone mentioned at the beginning of our budget session. I'm sorry about that. At the beginning of our budget session, I'm the guy. Does everybody else do that too?
Yeah.
Because I know I always do that.
You're okay. If we had a good producer, he'd turn the gain up for you.
But
Get what you get for free.
one thing somebody threw out there was the buyout idea. Buying out, would it be cheaper to buy out some people? Heck, we started the budget, thinking the possibility of cutting some employees. I mean, everything was on the table. It really looked real bad at first, but
you were texting and you were like, sounding the alarms bell for doom. The alarm bells for
it looked
doomsday.
horrible, but it ended up not being so bad.
That's
thankfully.
why if you're in the Patreon, if you're a Patreon member, you get show notes every week. That's why there's a bullet point on here that says, "Do we need to start preparing for bankruptcy?" What's going on, Clay?
Right. Yeah. So we started out we thought we was going to have to cut like $1.7 million. So typically, a lot of departments, most all departments, automatically ask for raises, and if you just take the salary back down, that took about $200,000 from that cut, but you're still like $1.5 million. But then what happened? Hey, I'll take a water.
Y'all want water?
Is there only one? He can have it.
That's all right.
But
Anybody deserves that water, it's me. I am parched.
We're trying to keep the electric bill down, so it's like 76 in here.
hey, it feels all right. I was wondering why Jeremiah was sweating, though. I see beads of sweat.
That's just Jeremiah. He sweats.
But the one thing that really helped us this year was actually, if you didn't understand it and was very pessimistic and cynical, you would be like, man, those guys are a bunch of idiots, But it was like $1 million, like, oh, we have this, and because what had happened is where the previous budget had budgeted almost the entire sheriff's department budget using Lowit funds. Mm-hmm. Lowit was kind of left alone. Our current auditor left it alone and budgeted the sheriff's department in the general fund like used to happen.
Lowit is designed for capital improvements and not monthly or day-to-day expenses. Lowit's supposed to be for long-term substantial solutions. That's the way that was explained to you all when you voted for it.
When we passed the public safety Lowit expense, that is what the council said, yes.
It's to buy fire trucks and police cars and
it's
AEDs.
To enhance
things
public
that are
safety.
lasting.
Enhance public safety, exactly. But all it did was just become a big cushion for the general fund. And
so you're saying there's a chance that 1% is going to go away, right?
Oh, absolutely not.
It goes back to that you're baked in and pigeonholed now, right?
Right. Well,
And that's what I've said about the jail.
You can only hope.
Is as soon as you guys when you guys all decide to raise our taxes, even though we sounded the alarm saying you weren't going to raise it, when you guys vote to raise the taxes, 7 cost-cutting small government Republicans,
right.
when you guys vote to raise the taxes to pay for a new jail, that will never go away either.
Oh, no.
Once
always
that's
have
in,
another
it will never go away.
It's supposed to sunset, right, in 20 years.
Remind me of how the food and beverage sunsetted.
Right, exactly. But exactly at that time, I mean, it realistically, now, I've been involved with county government for a few years, and that's exactly what happens. You're right. I mean, if we're all honest,
you just assume that it's there forever and ever and ever,
exactly.
And then government will grow 5 or 6 years later, and you'll need another 0.5% or another 0.25%.
Well, and so you take our jail issue, for instance. Like I said earlier, there's nowhere to cut. Like, there is no money to correct the jail situation.
It's because you're paying for retirements.
Well,
it's
all,
because you don't. It doesn't get run like
here.
It doesn't get run like a private sector business.
It doesn't,
and
no.
it's you have defined benefits instead of defined contributions.
Yeah. No, there is some things like that. Absolutely. So what's got to happen is you're exactly right. I mean, taxes will raise a little bit to alleviate the jail population. So, in other words, the population obviously stays the same. It'll just be in different buildings, kind of thing. So, on that issue, so where we're at, what we discussed, most likely what's going to happen is, as you know, the state says, "Hey, we'll help you with your jail situation," because it's a statewide situation.
The state has increased the number of people that are in the county jails because of the reclassification of felons.
Exactly, and so they give us, I think, a 0.2. We can raise an income tax of 0.2% for construction, a detention center construction. 20% of that can be used for operational, but 80% has to go to basically brick and mortar, right? We are currently
Vigo
involved.
County, Terre Haute just did this.
Yeah, exactly. Vigo County was ordered, by a federal judge. And we were told basically we could be the next. So what we're trying to do is we know that there's a lawsuit out there that we have absolutely no defense for. So what we have to do is find an immediate temporary solution. And what that might look like is raising that tax. It'll bring in about $1.8 million a year, given the current income of Henry County, to purchase a pod system, something that we can bring in. I mean, we still got to look at location. We still got to, the logistics of it all. But that would reduce, I don't know if that would look like men over here and women over here. I don't know. But it would help alleviate and give us some kind of solution for the short term. And then in about 2024, the Justice Center bond is paid off. And then we rebond. And then we use that money plus the $1.8 million, and then we look at construction. I've been
Commissioner Tarantino told me last week that he could build a jail a hell of a lot cheaper than y'all are planning, but he needs the government officials to look the other way so he can just build the damn thing.
Well, he's probably been looking at Arizona, and there probably is a cheaper way.
Maricopa Joe design.
There probably is a cheaper way.
But then you have to buy all the brand new pink uniforms.
Right, exactly.
Well,
K Kronk is watching. Our K Kronk, not your K Kronk.
Okay.
And she said that Mason's made more progress on that Rubik's Cube over there in the last 5 minutes than she's seen Dakota do in the last 2 years. How you doing, Mason?
Thank you. I'm working. I honestly don't know how to work these things. I've got like 6 blue.
There's a pattern to it.
Yeah, nope.
Y'all need to pray for him. He needs Jesus, and
look at that! I'm one away from
one
the blue
away on one side.
On one
I
side,
gave up on
I
that
think
stuff
that you
years
wanna
ago.
Get the green first.
So, Mason, what do you think about the jail in the budget? How's this? Is this the kind of episode you just skip in the car? Let's be honest. Would you listen to this episode?
I'd listen to it just to say, "Hey, I listened to it." But I mean,
Yeah, as
honestly, this has just persuaded me never to further venture into
Gen Z. How we doing over here? Because he's talking about raising your taxes. You're going to be the six-figure.
Not if I get my out of this county.
This six-figure Dr. Mason over here that's coming back
going
and
anywhere else, though, buddy.
They're going to steal your money.
Yep.
This is you got to. I'm in politics for self-defense. Put down the Rubik's Cube and get your head in the game.
So Clay,
he has nothing to say.
So my question
it's been an
is,
abusive relationship all month, all year
But
long.
as I was thinking about this episode, I honestly had this thought. I thought, wow, a lot of these boss hog people are probably going to be like yawning through this.
Our listener
They
base
enjoy
is very
it.
intelligent.
I don't understand.
Well,
it.
I mean, talking about all these numbers and
I would
things.
say-
and
it's the
I would
same
say our
issues.
listeners
the things you're
on
going over
average.
now, though, apply everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody has
They
a local
do.
budget.
Yeah,
That's why
they do.
That's
They
why we
do.
call time out from time to time and say,
Yeah.
okay, explain what this person does, because that same job is getting done.
Yeah.
An auditor might be called a controller in Illinois, but it's the same stuff.
Oh
that's
yeah,
happening,
yeah,
right?
sure, exactly.
The same job exists, or the same roles exist.
Yeah.
Somebody's
But
still setting a budget. Somebody's still paying the bills.
Right. And that's so what was disheartening for me. So I'm sitting there during this whole workshop, absolutely loving it. I mean, it's the best one that I've sat through. Enjoyed it in the aspect of we were actually digging in and getting some things figured out. And these guys that are on there now, they're more than willing to make some pretty tough choices. But so we come out in the end where we're looking pretty good for this year. Honestly, we don't have like extra money, but we're budgeted.
Yeah. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. Typically in the past, we'd submit a budget to the state and go, and we would hear, well, we'll probably have to cut.
Right.
This year, that's not the case. Like we budgeted according to projected revenues. Sounds like a budget, right?
Yeah.
So I think for the next couple of years, we'll be able to kind of maintain what I'm concerned about. And honestly, I don't have a great answer for other than, increase your tax base, right? Get people in here. Is that going to happen? I don't know. I mean,
We're
that's
trying.
That's the reality of
we
it.
We market this, Newcastle's the home of Boss Hog of Liberty.
Listen, I just
we
moved-
thought that,
Yeah, that's
that
I
true.
was
just
to
moved
bring
my
people
in-laws
in.
in from
That
Morgan
is
County.
true.
I'm growing this
That
county.
is true.
Y'all
That
could
is
help
true.
a little bit. Mason says
That
he's
is
never
true.
coming back, Mr. Six-Figure Doctor dude.
I'm really actually just never going to leave. Honestly, take what you need to out of my paycheck. Honestly.
whoa.
Have a little fight, buddy.
Whoa.
Soft spine.
Come on
Mason.
But I am concerned that our revenue costs are going to, our revenue is going to plateau, knowing that our costs are going to increase.
Your costs are going to increase, and right now you've got record levels of low unemployment. So you
Yeah.
get income tax and you get property tax.
Yeah.
Property taxes are pretty well capped. They're
Right,
not
exactly.
You're
Exactly.
bumping up against the top end of property tax. So
Right.
that number's probably not going to change a whole lot.
No.
But the income tax, people are making more money right now. People
Right.
are employed. You've got income tax dollars coming back in.
Yes.
This is the good times, right?
Yes.
You get a
Yes.
recession, and all of a sudden, your
Absolutely.
13 million coming in may look a lot like 11.5.
Absolutely. And that's the reality of it is if we do have another 2008, something like that, we're in trouble because we're budgeted.
Yeah, you're going. Where in the hell are we going to find that money?
We're budgeted to the max. I mean, we're to the wall right now.
In good times, you're stressed. In bad times, Katie, look out.
Right. Exactly. And speaking to the income tax situation, the thing that is that was positive about that is we are expected to, even though the LOIT, public safety LOIT has been budgeted, it's actually called LIT now. They changed the terminology.
It's lit.
We have to apologize to the live feed folks online. They're going to get a second portion of this because
It's a little chaotic.
a little behind the scenes for you guys. Christy's wondering what happened. You'll find out when you listen later. Dakota tried to put the laptop in. I'm typing a message back. We'll be back up soon.
Momentarily.
So basically, what happened is the Dakota tried to move the laptop from the midpoint back to the producer's desk where we wanted to be. That didn't work out earlier, and they just said, "Okay, we'll just run on the laptop in the regular spot." But I think Dakota gambled a little bit and said, I don't have to plug the laptop in for this. He plugged the laptop in just now after it died. So the video feed went down. We're still recording, and we still have this will all still be in the regular free iTunes side. But the Patreon or the web folks just lost their live feed, and we'll have a 2-parter over on that side. But that's
Nice.
that's what just happened here.
Nice.
I don't think he can stitch it back together, so he's got to hit the live button again in a second. Mason, you have no interest in getting any more involved in government now after listening to this.
No.
Your eyes have glazed over.
I'm really just. I don't understand how to do these things.
The Rubik's Cube, not a budget.
Both.
You're the fidget spinner generation, aren't you?
Yeah, right.
Those things you just spin.
Take the whole point too. Absolutely. When they give you like 0.2, you don't take 0.1 now and then go, crap, we got to do it all over again.
You just raise the whole thing and get them pissed at you to start with,
exactly.
right? Yeah,
you only make people mad once.
That's the way you big government Republicans behave. That's
exactly.
what I've learned.
Exactly. Right. Well, actually, after the last election, according to State Party, I am something to the effect of a Republican that's not in good standing.
You're not in good standing because of your endorsement.
Well, there is someone in this room that I kind of wanted to see on there. So yeah, but I am thankful that Kennan is doing a great job. That's actually,
good. He's my county councilman, and I wish him nothing but the best.
He's he's doing very, very well. So
He friended me on Facebook.
Very happy about that. Kennan, Chad, Susan, Peg, all of them are actually doing. There's my mic. But yeah, they're actually doing really, really well. They all bring a little something different, but it's all pretty vital. So what I think's hilarious is, and I think it's okay. I don't think she would care that I bring this up. But Peg, I forget if I mentioned it before, but Peg actually sent me an email before the election and everything, that I should resign.
Yes.
Right. And so I just didn't respond or whatever. And it just so happens that our first council meeting, she's right beside me on the council. And so we're going through our meeting and everything. And we went through a couple of meetings. And then she approached me afterwards, and we talked, and it was funny, and it was fine, and it was great, and then Peg's been actually she's kind of the one that always wants. You referred to me the stick in the mud earlier. She's kind of the stick in the mud now.
Yeah,
but it's actually kind of good. I mean, not kind of. It is good because she brings something different that, we could be rolling along on something and she'll just stop it and be like, well, what about this? And it makes us think, and then we process through it. And then there's been some things we've explained in the process of everything that she's learned and frustrated by. But it's some of those things that like where your hands get tied. And from how do I want to say this? So when you're sitting in the courtroom, right, and you're in the county council meeting, like from the stands, if you will, there's sometimes we do things and say things that look totally stupid, and sometimes you're like, that doesn't make any sense, but yet we know we have to do it this way because of different statutes or mandatory things, and she found some of those out during budget session, and she just kind of shook her head and was like, I can't believe that, but it is the way it is. But yeah, everybody's doing great. I personally, no offense, but I would vote for every one of them if I had the opportunity. I wouldn't have a problem voting for any of them to be back on the council. They are really, really doing a great job. And even Susan being a rookie, elected council president. She's doing a great job. So I'm happy.
Very good.
They've actually made it easy on me.
I always had a good amount of faith in Susan.
Yeah, she's great. She really is.
Dakota,
really
what's the update on the camera situation here?
We're back.
We're live to the group again?
We're back.
Do you have a public apology?
No.
What happened?
The Just the laptop died.
So the laptop, that's what we're
Laptop
telling
died, and then
the Russians.
And then I turned it back on, and apparently it fetched the video stream again, and it started streaming again, and I didn't know while I was setting it back up. So it got a little weird looking at the end of the part 1 video.
Okay.
But we're back, and we've already
we've
repopulated.
we've reshared it, and the crowd is back.
All right, so now that we're back, part 2 of the Boss Hog of Liberty, episode 126. Clay Morgan, we teased it at the very beginning of the episode with your article in the Courier Times that you would open up a exploratory committee to talk about seeking the position of Middle District Commissioner in Henry County.
Wow.
You said in the Courier Times, and this is a quote.
You are elected as a at-large county councilman, so your term
right now,
has approximately 1 year remaining.
Yeah.
A touch over a year. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's starting to be thinking time.
January is when we have
file
to
again.
decide for 2020.
If you're running as a Republican for a contested county office,
right,
you start to file in January.
You said then, this is a quote, that nothing is set in stone yet. So I want to know if the stone has set yet.
Do you have some breaking news for our people?
I like it. I like that face. Look at me. He's like,
There it is. I wish we had a remote control for Chris to zoom in on it with the camera.
Right. Yes, the stone, I believe, has set for the Middle District County Commissioner.
Now, there are already there's at least one candidate announced.
Yes.
It's me.
And I assume Commissioner Cronk is also going to announce. So it's probably a 2-person race now.
Right.
You may make this a 3-person race for the Republican nomination.
Yeah. I could do that, but I'm not going to. Not going to. No, I was very serious about that possibility. So that's why at the first of the year, I went ahead and filed that exploratory committee to get it out there, because I knew there would be a handful of people vying for that spot. With the are we allowed to say wind turbine issue on here?
Is that still an issue?
So right now it is laid like right here. It's on life support, right? I honestly, truthfully don't know what's going to happen.
Wind is dead.
The famous quote. But as of right now, it's.
I read that Calpine closed their Sulphur Springs office this week.
I actually saw them packing up. I saw them packing their stuff up.
Yeah.
Loading it in cars as I was driving by.
And
that is an official report, Chris.
That
Guffey?
is confirmed. I saw them.
They packed up their office and they have left town.
They have taken stuff out.
They left on the horse they rode in on.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Was the horse's name Tuesday?
Well, yeah. So
No, it's named Friday.
Fred. The horse was named Fred. Fred riding Fred. Anybody? Christy will get it. Bob and Tom fans. Come on.
But my assumption on that was either one,
Didn't know
Calpine was going to
what his
leave,
name was.
or 2, they were going to resubmit, because it doesn't live or die on that 4-4. But anyways, I didn't know that.
Without a commission approved use, you can't build a damn thing. So it doesn't seem like it's alive. Clay.
Exactly.
5 votes. 5 votes. Yes.
Right.
Less than 5 votes.
Yeah.
You can't build anything.
And here's what's crazy that night. So I know we're getting off the commissioner thing, but I'll get back there. But what's crazy, even at the barbershop, I mean, I've got people that come in that are for him. I got people that come in that are against him, both sides. But what was interesting is the honest truth. I know, and you know that I know a couple people that I'm friends with. Some people
I know that you know that I know that we know
that I know. You know what I mean? That are I'm friends with these people that kind of have an inside look at what's going on this particular issue. Up to that night, they were like, I don't know which way this is going to go. Mm-hmm. They said, flip a coin. And literally, that's what happened, 4-4 split. So, but back to the commissioner race. So, I was very serious about that. But within a couple of months, actually, now I still officially I hope I'm not breaking any registration rules or anything, but I still have an exploratory committee open.
You're still raising money. You can
I
give it away to anybody.
right. I haven't officially closed it, but after a few months, just life again, it got pretty stressful, and I began to realize I can't physically. I am unable to give the time needed to do a good job for people, even if they elected me. That was the reality of it, because I'm kind of if I take a position, that's why earlier I talked about how I resigned from some of those boards and stuff, because I'm not the kind of person that can just take on a position and just ride it out. Like, if I can't fulfill my obligation and my duty and feel like I'm putting in the effort I need to, I would rather not do it and be honest with everybody. And so I just knew realistically I can't give the commissioner's office what it really deserves. So I don't want to win that position.
Well, good.
So
we don't have to lose our barber.
So
no one commissioner.
What's that?
No one commissioner.
No one commissioner.
All right. Have you reconsidered your position on the council?
On the council.
Is this the end of the councilman time, or are you still leaving the door a little cracked for continuing on for another term?
Because it did say in the Courier Times article that you were not going to be seeking re-election.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't anticipate it at that time.
No. So, and on that, and that's what so after that, I had a lot of people like, oh man, just run again. You got to run again. You can't quit now. You can't blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I already told everybody I wasn't going to. Right. And so then I'm like, it'll be all right. Just don't worry about it and all that. And I'm like, so, because absolutely, I was like, okay, I'm done. So here's where I'm at now.
Today.
Here's where I'm at today.
As of today.
As of today, right now. Here's
August
where I'm
the
at.
15th.
So,
Marco Rubio said he wasn't running for the Senate again either. Yet he's still there.
well,
right?
I could have my name on the ballot for council next year. Right now, at this moment, I'm not anticipating it strongly.
Now,
You're
you're not a Republican in good standing. Would they let you back on your ballot, or do you have to go talking to some other people?
I can be on the ballot. I've voted properly and according to rules. So, but no. So
you're saying if Councilwoman Hoon is allowed to be on the ballot, then I guess you're allowed to be on the ballot.
Well, yeah, right. No. So honestly, I'm going to wait till I'm just going to see who applies. I mean, who signs up. You know what I mean? Because we could be. I mean, honestly, a lot of people talk about politics, government, but not a lot of people actually put their name down.
Oh, damn right. There's 3 contested races in the entire city of Newcastle.
So
election.
you know exactly what I mean.
We're having a limited election.
So I'm going to see who applies. There'll be 3 seats open. As we know, Councilman Thalls, said he's going to resign or retire.
Retire at the end of this year.
At the end of this year.
Somebody will get appointed and get that little
exactly.
I next to their name conveniently to protect a Republican seat.
So that's going to be interesting there.
Nice game y'all played.
So that's going to be interesting, right? So I imagine whoever gets caucused in will run.
I'm going to say Josh Norris. Josh Norris is probably the guy.
So, but so there could be 3, if there's only 2 people that I will probably put my name down. You know what I mean?
So what you're saying is that you should keep your name on the ballot, and then later on in the year, whenever Jeremiah says he's running for at-large,
drop out.
Then you drop out and endorse.
What a strategy.
Yeah.
Or
what a strategy.
If Dakota says he's going to do it, maybe you drop
What
out
a
for
strategy.
Dakota.
Dakota's got a baby next year.
Well, I
He's
might
not
have a
gonna
baby
do it.
next year. It's, we don't know.
Maybe.
Baby's name is Chasen.
That is Patreon content only. If you want to know
sorry.
that
Come on.
story,
Sorry.
Oh, man.
patreon.com/boss Hog of
Jeez,
Liberty.
oh, Pete.
Come on, Mason.
We do need absolutely 100%. I see an absolute need for just good, solid thinking people on the council. It's not a position to be taken lightly. There is work to it. It is tough. We're headed for tough times. There's absolutely no doubt about it. And thank God, seriously, thank God. I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but we have some of these very hardworking council people on there right now. Because when I first started, I was trying to work hard also, and it wears you out. It just wears you out physically and mentally, trying to wrestle with, a machine, if you will.
So I can tell you, I'm not even elected yet, and all the meetings that I go to, everything, the committees I get appointed to, the boards that I'm now on, I'm just mentally, you're just like, wow, I didn't realize all this goes into it when you throw your hat in.
And you haven't been bribed once yet.
Yeah.
We got to wait for a while to get the corruption.
I haven't even been endorsed by a Republican not in good standing.
Oh, wow.
I haven't yet.
Think about that.
So
as everybody looks at me.
So the process,
I don't know.
I will transition very gracefully as we do here. The process for filling the empty seat that is expected to be created by Mike Thalls is you Republicans will have a grand elephant discussion. The precinct committeemen,
right,
will get together and then they'll decide. And interested parties, I guess any Republican in the county could say that they want to be considered.
Yeah,
because it's an at-large seat. It's anybody in the county.
Yes.
I would say Betsy Mills is probably a very, very legitimate possibility.
Likely. I've heard.
Steve Thompson's been very, very well recognized for some of the stuff he's doing in Fall Creek Township. Maybe he would be a name.
Okay.
Maybe John Madison, who's kicked the idea around. I know that we've seen a number of people run in the past. Maybe Nate Lamar would be back around.
It's actually possible.
Nate could be on there. You could see. And Mike McCown has run before as a Republican in that seat 8 years ago. So there's a lot of names that are Republicans have a strong bench.
There's people out there that are
Tom Saunders could be appointed to that so that he'd clear the way for Aaron Dickin. You just never know.
Know.
There's a lot of ways these could go.
You never know. That's true.
But you never know. It's very open.
Yeah.
It's very open.
Yeah.
Do you have a prediction, Dakota?
I'm going to predict that. I'm going to predict Nate Lamar's he's not going to go after it because I think Nate is going to also go after Tom Saunders' seat.
You think so?
He's going to primary him?
Yep.
My God.
Well, that's a big prediction.
That is strong, man.
Yeah.
I think he'll probably put his name in the ring, and then I know Tom. Tom's a good guy. Tom will probably be like, okay, I like you, Nate. So then he'll just step out.
Think so, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is,
I haven't actually talked to Nate too much.
That's some fantasy football stuff.
Yeah, it is.
But I've cut his hair. I cut his hair once, not too long ago, and things. I know he's still very active in the party and still keeping his finger on the pulse of what's going on in the county. And so yeah, he could be a possibility. He's a really nice guy. We get along just fine.
Very good. All right. Are we at the point where we probably ought to start doing final thoughts?
Yes.
We will start with
listen, man, I gotta wake up at 4:20.
We'll start with intern Mason.
Oh wow, yeah.
Intern Mason, we're getting to the end, man. This is goodbye. I guess, unless you drop out of Purdue and decide you want to do this for nothing full time.
No. I mean, I'd come here for nothing full time, but I still gotta stay at Purdue. This is
there's a young man that one of my very good best friends just dropped his son off at Purdue last week. He's going through Gold Rush now.
Who?
Kid from Pendleton named Hunter Thompson.
No clue.
I know that.
Hunter S. Thompson?
No, he's not that Hunter Thompson.
Dang it.
I'll send you a little picture and maybe you can look out for the kid.
I don't know.
You make no promises.
No.
All right.
No. This is the part where Chris is supposed to cue "Candle in the Wind" by Elton John as I'm talking in my final thoughts.
That's not happening. You're an intern. You're an intern. You don't get a special buy.
But my final thoughts is this actually just recently happened. As I was
little Sebastian.
No. So Sarah Morrell.
I've met her.
She just slid in my DM, so you got something to watch out. She
I'm not
walked
worried.
out on you, and she slid in my DMs.
I am not at all worried,
So
Mason.
she texts me, and she says, "You put that phone down." And I told her she failed at finding me a girlfriend this past weekend. And then she said she read GF as GIF. So she sent
I'll send
me
you some gifts.
a cat GIF right here of Puss in
So-
Boots.
Thank you for those interesting final thoughts.
Sarah attended a bridal shower for a former Purdue, Joey Molinaro's fiance, Riley. to be Molinaro was a Purdue University football cheerleader. So there were a bunch of football cheerleaders at this bridal shower, and she was trying to find somebody for you. Unfortunately, they were all graduated, and she
Doesn't matter. She didn't even try.
She said, "The hell with it. Mason's not worth an outside of college girl." I think you didn't get all the way. So
Fair enough.
in all seriousness, thank you, Mason. This has been a lot of fun.
I've had a lot of fun.
Chase is coming back next week.
My body has
Maybe.
regretted it from the things that have gone inside. Jalapenos, peanut butter, marshmallows, habanero, ghost pepper, pickles. Those were delicious.
You
though.
have caused us to become we eat hot stuff on this show.
And
You've
always
contributed.
That was
to
Darren Jacobs.
Darren started it. The Spiceland people have continued to make us eat hot
I
stuff.
will drive down from West Lafayette once we reach $600 on our Patreon, and I will eat the Pepper X Pepper, whatever it's called.
We've got to source one, but yes.
Remember that.
Whoa.
We'll find it. The Peruvian puff pepper.
Twice as hot as the ghost pepper.
Yeah, it's like 4 million Scoville units. Yeah.
I'm willing to lose.
I don't even think
What
that, I don't.
taste
That's
I do.
just
you can
nuts.
tell.
Like, to me, that's just nuts.
I don't think you could.
But
tell.
thank you for coming to MVP Barbershop today.
Hey, that's no problem. I needed a fresh
The ghost
cut
pepper
and-
was just pain.
These
I don't see
peppers-
how it gets.
I'm gonna go.
worse.
You get to a
Go on.
certain point on
It's
the
gonna
hot
hit my gut
scale,
and it's gonna
and
go.
it's like it's binary. Water is wet, peppers are hot. You get to a certain point, and it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
You're past what you can sense,
It's-
and it's not going to matter.
It's like
It's all
whenever
theoretical.
I hear you.
It's like whenever it gets to -10 outside, and then the next day it's -20, and
Yeah,
you're like,
like-
it feels the exact same.
Exactly. I see. I see. True.
It is colder. It's much colder.
I don't want to try it, though.
but
I'll try it. I hate it. Trust me, I hate it. But
Producer Chris,
Yeah, I've got.
final thoughts? I saw you at Block and Brew on Tuesday night.
oh god,
I was there. I was. I did.
You
Have
had that good-looking girl.
I did have a date.
did Jeremiah crash your date?
No.
Has he reached that level?
He tried to get me to crash his date.
I did not.
oh
he
my
did.
Gosh.
I did not. Your wife was like, I think we should go to Block and Brew at 7:00. But anyways, yes, I did have a date. It
Say
was-
hey to our friend Paul down there.
I did not. I was preoccupied on my date,
the date.
which was a little more important than saying hello to the manager.
That's pretty impressive, though. You know the manager.
Did you secure a second date
There is a second date in the works. We just have to figure a time.
back
place.
at Block and Brew?
I'm proud of you, workout buddy.
I'm proud of you too. No. So my other thing is I'd actually like to give a congratulations to Monica Altman. She is a few years younger than I am.
She has won a second date with Chris Guffey.
No, she hasn't.
Oh.
She is going to be serving on the Louisville Town Council.
Did she get that like nomination or like elected? That was quick. I just heard about that like 3 days ago.
Yeah, all I'm saying is it's official. She's going to be serving.
She was one of the folks that applied to be, as a Republican to win, and she won the caucus.
Must have been.
I think who was on that? Waylon Thompson, Monica Altman,
Waylon T.
Lonnie Farrell.
But
yeah.
you know,
All the legends of Louisville.
that's one good thing is like the younger generations. People are recognizing that it's time for us to step up and take
Did
charge,
you ever think that
lead.
maybe you're just not the younger generation anymore, and people like Mason are, and now you're the establishment?
That's why I'm saying I'm running for City Council Ward 3.
As soon as you get elected, you're a part of the establishment.
I know, and I am 30
that guy
now,
out.
So I guess
Yeah, that's right.
I'm
not-
not that spring chicken anymore.
You're not the young one that you think you are.
I know,
I still believe in you.
but I can say I'm probably the youngest person that goes to the city council meetings by. Sorry, Zach. I'm going to say 15 years.
Well, I'm going to start going.
Zach is only 6 or 7 years older than you.
No, he's not.
Zach is the same age as me. You're 30 and I'm 36. Zach and I are both class of 2001, I believe.
I'm sorry, Zach.
Rude! You're a dick. Yeah, Zach, I wouldn't put him a day over 45, maybe 46. That's what Guffey
Wait,
says.
Zach Bertram?
Yeah.
He's got that perfectly grayed, like
I
facial
thought-
hair.
I'm sorry to say, I thought he was like
Don't say it.
25.
Hey, Mason, how old does Clay look?
He's
We talked about this earlier. Oh yeah,
44.
Oh!
Yeah. He started barbering at 19 years old.
Would you believe that Clay has boys that are as old as you are?
I think the oldest one's what, a senior this year?
My oldest one's 19.
Oh, okay. So he graduated what, last year? Year before?
Yeah, year before. He's been at Boar's Head for a year now. Yeah, be 20 in October.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just turned 20. So he was probably class 2018.
This could be your
19?
dad. Shape up.
Yeah.
Well,
My 74, my dad was born.
I was born in 75, yeah.
look at this, Aaron Dickin
Yeah.
coming through.
Hey!
I totally forgot. Well, I didn't forget about Aaron, but he sits on the council.
Zach Burcham.
Zach, you spelled my name wrong.
I won't forget that Guffey with no E.
I'd hate to see what he types my
But no,
name as.
No, but yeah, it's just good to see the younger generation, like Aaron, me, attempting to anyways, Monica, just stepping up and leading the charge, because this is going to be our town or city or county for years upon years upon years upon years.
That
So
means quit
now,
throwing those straws.
now's
in
the time
ocean.
we need to put in place plans that later on down the line we think is going to be the best for us and best for the future generations.
Here, here. Guffey 2019. All right.
And
Councilman
Zach,
Clay.
you're my council buddy. You're my best friend there. Besides Dickin.
I'm picking Dickin, baby. I gave him a contribution last week.
Nobody
I
can pick Dickin.
I want him in that race. It's good for the county. He's good for the conversation.
What you got for us, Clay?
He
You already
is.
broke the news that you're not going to run.
Nope, not going to. I actually told Mr. Commissioner Cronk that a couple months ago or so.
So you
before,
told him he was safe.
before a meeting. I said, hey, you're safe. Don't worry.
Yeah.
No. I went to him before the meeting. I said, hey, I just want you to know. I said, I'm not, because he was like the first one, like I really told. And so I went up to him. I said, hey, I just want you to know. I said, I'm not going to run. And he looked at me. He said, what? He said, you're not? And I said, no, I'm not going to. And he's like, kind of, wow, okay, And
He was looking for an out.
yeah, all
he was
of a
gonna
sudden
retire.
he started treating me better. No, just kidding. He still hates me. No,
He's not out washing your car or anything.
right. No, actually, we have been getting along just fine. He doesn't. I don't think he hates me anymore because now he has Chad Malico to hate. But but anyhow, so no. Final thoughts. So yeah, things are going well there as far as that. I am concerned about the future. Don't have the answers. And off of what Guffey said, I do, man, I encourage people to run. I mean, that was the thing when I got into that controversy, endorsing you, in the race last time. That was my thought is like, hey, everybody, I mean, get involved. If you have an opinion, that you think should be heard, because you don't have to just run. I mean, you could help someone run. There's a lot of various ways to get involved, because what's going to happen is exactly what Guffey said. You're going to learn. You're going to learn all the different facets and the players, and how it is a tightrope sometimes, and it's not as easy as what you think it should be. And whether it should be or not, it's not. It's the world we live in, not the world as we wish it was. So as far as I go, I'm willing to serve again. Right now, not really anticipating that. I think there'll be some people step up, some good, strong people to step up and continue the course for the county. Again, my only concern is that in the future, our expenses are going to continue to outweigh our revenue. So I don't know how we go about that. I'm sure we'll have to figure it out when it happens, right? So anyways, but for me personally, I've been looking at the world and the craziness of it all. You got the shootings, you've got, federal politics that to me, honestly, looks more like professional wrestling than it does, good government. Everybody just kind of, it's like an act, it's really disgusting, to be honest with you. It's disheartening because that's our future. Chuck Colson said that politics flows downstream of culture. And so for me personally, being a person...
Hashtag me personally.
Hashtag me personally. That's right. Being a Bible believer, I look at the world around me and I like, culture is feeding this monster, right? And so it's like the gun issue. You can put all kinds of laws on it. but it's not going to fix the issue, right? There's some serious problems here, and people are making very bad decisions. I could go on and on about all that. But anyways, so I'm thinking about my future, like how can I make the biggest difference, right? I can be on the council. It impacts, 30 to 40,000 people's lives every day, right? But I've been thinking about the future and like, how can I have a voice? How can I speak up? How can I deal with my own craziness? Because, I'm kind of crazy inside sometimes. I told my wife the other day, if I tell you how I really feel about things, like you would worry about me, right? So, but I talked to Dakota. I think next year, if it happens sooner, great. But I think by the 1st of next year, I want to launch a podcast of some kind. I really do. I think I don't know if
Didn't you have that idea once before? And here we are, 126 episodes in on the podcast.
So
you wanted to start?
Well, hey, it could be a Balls Hog of Liberty connection. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, we could talk about that.
We got a rent payment here, man. We got a studio.
We could talk about that.
We can work out an arrangement.
But I want to do something like just take what's going on, add like a biblical perspective, if you will, a kind of a faith-based perspective. Of course, it'd be my perspective, but try to bring some common sense to everything. Try to calm the chaos, if you will. We get people all worked up on both sides of the fence, right? I mean, we got Republicans that are acting like idiots. And then we've got Democrats that are so stinking liberal that are coming up with ideas that cannot be sustained. And all we do is clash over and over and over again, right?
That's all theater. Yeah.
So, it's professional wrestling.
It's all theater.
It's professional wrestling.
It's like going through the TSA.
So I just want to...
It's all just to make you feel better.
I like to talk, right? So I like to talk. I like to bounce ideas and to be challenged and to challenge others. So yeah, I'm thinking about maybe doing that. So if there's a niche for that, if there's room for that, I kind of want to spend some time, launch out on that and see what happens. So that's kind of a long final thought for me, maybe for the future. As I finish out my last year on the Henry County Council, maybe I'll be doing a little podcasting myself.
You got to replace that county council income somehow.
Exactly.
Big money in podcasting.
Hope it's not more than like $100 a month. Though.
It's good. No, $9,700 a year. So it's not bad for what we do. But yeah, $9,700 a year.
Dakota Davis.
More money I've ever seen in my lifetime. I mean,
I really don't have any final thoughts. Clay, I'm looking forward to being your very first guest on your show.
Get in line.
Wow.
Get in line. You're my backup plan. Clay was the first choice for this show.
Listen, he came to me and asked how to produce a podcast.
That's right. Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, while I was cutting his hair.
Who wrote the guide
while I was cutting
Chris
his hair,
how to produce a podcast?
I'm like, wow. You know what? Because
I did.
I was saying you guys are like so far above me right now. Like, how can a little guy like me start out just with a basic little podcast?
I can
for $400 a month. For $400 a month, I think we can hold your hand.
That puts us over the 600,
right?
So that means it goes Pepper X.
Egg Pepper X. All right.
Gosh.
Well, I have a final thought, and it's a rant and it's a complaint.
Oh God.
School is back in session.
Here we go.
My route back from Muncie to Newcastle to my home on the south side, 5 doors from city limits, is State Road 3 to Riley Road.
Is this for Aaron Dickin?
This is for Councilman Dickin.
Jerry Walden is also in the chat, so he will
and Councilman Walden as well. But I want Councilman Dickin to know because this is in his ward. In our neighborhood. The speed limit sign has returned in front of Riley School. Riley Road is 30 miles an hour. Unless children are present. When children are present, it's 20 miles an hour. At 6:30 p.m., kids are not present. But the damn speed limit sign is still on. The variable speed limit sign that says the speed limit is 20 miles an hour, which is a lie. It is not true. It causes these terrified blue-haired women to drive 18 miles an hour down Riley Road at 6:30 or 7 o'clock at night. They're going to cause an accident. their safety sign needs to be turned off or adjusted based upon what time of the day it is. Because it's not a 20-mile-an-hour zone all day long, every day of the week, constantly. It's when the children are present.
Is that the one that starts flashing when you get above 25? It says slow down.
No.
The electric one.
Yeah.
But
it's it says slow. You're going too fast.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going the speed limit at 30 miles an hour.
And it's going slow down.
Slow down. You're going too damn fast.
I passed
Yeah.
that last night.
Yeah.
I hate those. Those
Yeah.
are so annoying.
Well, they also track.
I
data
also
too,
read
though.
in our media partner, the Courier Times, that the council was going to buy about 35 more of those signs
Don't those-
and put them everywhere to make you
they
safe and
track
welcome.
data?
you know,
I
what
heard,
they do?
I heard there was going to be quite a few.
Yeah, there's
You
going to
know
be
what I
35
do
or
with
40
those?
more of those things all over town.
Yeah.
I look
says,
forward to the blue hairs getting rear-ended. They're going to take it right up the bumper, Clay.
There's-
The bumper.
They have like 2 stages, and they say too fast, and then they
It
say
says
slow down.
slow down.
Yeah, slow
it's like-
down,
it's
and then
like-
then it switches to
And
too
it says
fast.
thank you.
It's like-
when you get to
and then-
17 miles an hour, it says thank
It
you.
says, like,
but it
3
wants you
to
to do
5.
half the legal speed limit, Clay.
I say we try to find the 4th stage. How fast do you have to be going before
We're
it
shutting down
automatically
Riley Road
notifies
tonight.
police?
I want
We're
to. Yeah.
shutting it down tonight.
Listen,
80?
I'm getting the
some
focus out
heroes.
there. and
Some
we're-
heroes reopen 14th Street, and I think maybe some heroes need to take that sign down or put another sign up on it that says, "If kids aren't here, it's 30." Just a little homemade cardboard cutout sign, and we duct tape it up there to let everybody
you
know.
got out of your car and tried to run to see how fast you could run yet?
This isn't the office.
This is my vigilante voice. I'm going to take down the speed limit sign.
I've developed kind of a personal relationship with them, actually. Because when I'm driving through, like, I take it personal. When it says, you're going too fast, I'm like, oh, I better
Sorry.
slow down.
Yeah, it's lying
And
to
then,
you, Clay.
and then it says thank you. And
When they-
I'm like, feel like it's really
yeah, it wants you
thanking me.
doing.
I've done a good thing.
It wants you doing
Yeah,
66% of the
right.
legal speed. That's the problem.
Thank you, robot sign.
Right. Right. It does.
I'm fine with the signs existing
Warm
and
and
collecting
fuzzy.
data and
Warm
doing
and fuzzy.
and being appropriate. But when it's lying to you, it's betraying the public trust.
oh,
That's what it's doing.
that's.
And now we're going to ignore them.
I've got one more thing. You brought up The Office, and it reminded me of Netflix, and Clay's here. But Clay, I'm sure you don't remember this. It was about, I'd say, 3 years ago. I was sitting in the shop, and you were telling me all about making a murder.
Yeah.
The making of a murderer.
Oh, boy.
Making a murder.
That's like a whole new episode.
Making
there.
a murderer.
Yeah, making a murder.
Yeah. Did you ever watch it?
I watched the second. Did you end up watching the second
yeah.
season?
It's pretty amazing.
It's
isn't
getting
it?
crazy. I think he's innocent. I think he
It's
is.
also hold on.
He was like, dude, you
It
gotta
is
watch
also a TV show that is produced and designed to make you believe he's innocent.
Okay, but listen, this dude's innocent. Like, I
So,
follow her Twitter.
There's an inherent bias.
Have you
there.
seen it yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously
okay.
not. If he
I was
going to
say you can look. I mean,
I think that he's innocent, but I also
I don't know.
I think he's
In-
innocent.
It's over.
you can
But
look
I-
up
quit
a
talking
lot of
about it.
facts
but
about
there's
this
also
case.
this part in my mind where it's like
very interesting.
where it's like
It's a very interesting show, and I know
Yeah.
we're talking about this about 2 years too late, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a heck of a show. Hold on.
So are you going to be grilling bratwurst on the county courthouse lawn tomorrow for Republican?
Yeah.
Republican,
Thanks for reminding me.
What,
No, seriously.
How do we do
I may be able to. I may be there. I'm not sure.
Libertarian turkey legs in the courthouse lawn. Is that equal opportunity, or do we have to have the majority of the commissioners to get that to happen?
You have to go to the commissioner president and get his permission.
Yeah.
Is that Kim?
So it's just a political.
That would be
Kim?
Kim.
As long as Kim
I
says
see
it's
him at breakfast
okay
all the time.
As long as Kim says okay, you can have your fundraiser on the courthouse
Actually,
lawn for
so
your
what-
political agenda.
Kim's arrested a lot of my family, so I'm sure he'll let me on the courthouse.
right. Actually, I think what happens. I think the request is made like to the commissioners, board of commissioners, and the commissioners vote. I think is how it goes. I'm honestly not sure, but yeah, that is tomorrow. Come on down, brats.
way to
$6.
plug the opposition,
Did
Jeremiah.
you see that get put into
Brats
citizens
for
of Henry
$6.
County?
There's
by
there's
Donna Marie
fireworks
Tauber.
outside. Me and Chris have to be up in 7 hours, so we're gonna. End
Are you
this,
over
baby.
this?
I'm ending it right
right.
now.
We will see you all next week.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Hog of Liberty, which is part of the We Are Libertarians Network. I am Chris Spangle, and I am the founder of this network, and I invite you to listen to all of our shows, which you can find at WeAreLibertarians.com or by searching for these in your podcatcher. The flagship show is the We Are Libertarians podcast, where we apply libertarian principles to current events. The Brian Nichols Show is a conversation amongst Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, as they talk about what is happening in the news. News, and we have many other podcasts like The Chris Spangle Show, Upward, The Cost, Raw Audio Politics, Miranda's World, and Tad Talk, which is quite a ride. So check all of these out. Go to wearelibertarians.com and you can check out all of our great podcasts. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians Network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com.